What's up everyone? Welcome to your first flipped video with Mr. Lang. This one's on solving rational equations. Now rational equations is just a fancy way of saying equations that have fractions. So listen, this is the part of the video where I usually tell you what you need, and for this video you really just need your notebook and a pencil. So let's get started. Alright, the first method for solving equations with fractions is the cross multiplication method. And you only use this when one fraction equals one other fraction. So in example 1 here, I've got p over 5 equals 8 over 10. One fraction equaling one fraction. Let me switch to my blue pen. Alright, so when we do this cross multiplication, we first multiply the p times the 10. That's 10p. Then you say equals, and then you do the 8 times 5, and that's 40. So you got 10p is equal to 40. This is really easy to solve. All we got to do is divide both sides by 10, and we're left with p is equal to 40 divided by 10 is 4, and that's our answer. So that's a cross multiplication in action. Show you another example here. Example 2 is 3 is equal to 12 over 2v. Now I just told you that the only time you can use cross multiplication is when you have one fraction equaling another fraction. So what we got to do is change this 3 into a fraction. We can do that by saying it's 3 over 1. So 3 over 1 is equal to 12 over 2v. Now we can cross multiply. 3 times 2v is 6v. 1 times 12 is 12. You can probably finish this one in your head, but we'll do it anyway. 6v is equal to 12. We'll divide both sides by 6. V is equal to 2. Not bad. Alright, let's do one more example with cross multiplication before we move on. Alright, example 3. We got one fraction equaling another fraction. But the difference is with this one is that we've got a binomial here. This is two terms, not just one. So what I do when I see a binomial or anything, or trinomial, whatever, is I put parentheses around it. You'll see why in a second. So now when I cross multiply, I'm going to do 5 times the quantity x minus 5. Equals 4 times 15 is equal to 60. So this is why I don't want to forget to have those parentheses, because I got to distribute here. The most common mistake is people just multiply the 5 just times the x. They forget to multiply it by the, to the negative 5 too. So we're going to distribute. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. So it's 5x minus 25 is equal to 60. Sorry about that button press. Hand slipped. And now we got a two-step equation to solve. So I'm going to add 25 to both sides. I get 5x is equal to 60 plus 25 is 85. And then I divide both sides by 5. And we're going to get x is equal to 85 divided by 5 is 17. And there you go. Okay, so that's cross multiplication. You may get a few for practice that get a little bit more involved in this, but this is the basics. This will get you started. Alright, let's get to the other kind of fraction problems you're going to see. And I call these the fraction busters. Alright, so this method, the fraction buster method, is best used when you have multiple fractions in an equation and those fractions have different denominators. So this example number 4 here, I got x over 3 plus x over 4 equals 14. You can't use cross multiplication because I got more than one fraction on this side. And first of all, this is 14. I'm going to think of it as a 14 over 1. Now here's what we do. We have three denominators in this problem. We have a 3, a 4, and a 1. And what you want to do is find the least common denominator, the LCD, least common denominator. And we don't even really have to think about the 1, not because it's on this side, but because it's 1. Alright, so really we just have to find the least common denominator between 3 and 4. And the least common multiple between 3 and 4, well, it's really just multiplying them together, which is 12. So the least common denominator is 12. So our goal here is to transform these fractions so they have a denominator of 12. Alright, so in order to get a denominator of 12 with this denominator of 3, I need to multiply 3 times 4. So I'm going to multiply the x over 3 times 4 over 4. Below that. Now to get the 4 to be a 12, I got to multiply that by 3. So I'm going to multiply that by 3 over 3. And I also need to multiply the 14 by something to get it to be over 12. Well, the only way I'm going to do that is to get it by 12 over 12. So we're going to get some big numbers on that side, but that's okay. Alright, so you see what's happening here. I'm multiplying the x over 3 by 4 over 4. Well, 4 divided by 4 is just 1. And when I multiply anything by 1, I don't change it. So really, I'm not changing this equation. I'm just changing kind of the form it's in. So anyway, you multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So I'm going to have 4 times x, so it's 4x, over 12, plus 3 times x is 3x, over 12, equals 12 times 14 is 168, and that's over 12. Now check this out. If you have an equation and everything is divided by 12, just cross the bottom out. Alright, so what we're left with is 4x plus 3x is equal to 168. So I'm going to move over here. And this is easy to solve. So this fraction buster, we busted the fraction by getting rid of the denominator, so we no longer have fractions. So this is 7x is equal to 168. Probably have to break out the calculator here. Maybe not if you could do this in your head. We're going to get x is equal to 28. So this fraction buster method is all about getting rid of the fraction. Let's do one more. Last example. We got x over 6 plus 5x over 2 equals 16 over 3. And with this one, again, we want to find the least common denominator between 6, 2, and 3. And in this case, the least common denominator is going to be 6. Alright, so when I go to multiply, the x over 6 is done. So I'm just going to leave that alone. But I need to multiply 2 by 3 to get 6. So I'm going to multiply by 3 over 3. And to get to 6, I need to multiply the 3 by a 2. So I'm going to multiply this one by 2 over 2. So let's see what I got. I got x over 6 plus 3 times 5x is 15x over 6 equals 2 times 16 is 32 over 6. And again, I busted this fraction. I can get rid of these denominators, so I'm left with just x plus 15x equals 32. One x plus 15x is 16x. And this one's easy to solve. Divide by 16. And I get x is equal to 2. And that's it. Busted the fraction. We'll do some more practice with this in class. So let's get to the SIA questions. Alright, SIA, CYU, stands for Check Your Understanding. And what you're going to do is pause the video here and copy down these 3 problems. Try them out on your own. And then we're going to put them in on our Schoology site. So again, pause the video here and give these a try. Thanks for listening.